So, welcome to the MONEYCAST, the future of money. I'm your host, Maurielle, executive astrologer, and today I'm going to show you what some of the most perceptive people like you in this room are already sensing, but maybe don't yet have the full language for. You're going to see the 5 energetic shifts that are already starting to reshape the future of money, some of the new wealth metrics that are quietly replacing the old ways that we used to measure wealth, and why this is really a rare geocosmic window in history for purpose-led power to become the new type of capital. And we're going to explore a precise 3-part financial formula that will show you where your wealth is already coded, so you can discover some of the hidden and under-leveraged talents, gifts, and assets that you could be maximizing in this new creator economy. And then stay tuned until the end, because after I explain the 3-part formula, I'm going to pull some people from the audience to do live interpretations of their wealth codes. So that way we don't just learn a theory, but we actually see the 3-part steps in real action, so you can go home and learn how to do this for yourself. So today is not a motivational training about money manifestation, mindset, woo tactics, or any of those kinds of things. It is also not a stock trading class. We're not going to be going, here's the stock you should pick and the stock that you shouldn't. This is a strategic lens and perspective for people who know that there is more leverage, more visibility, more influence, more talent, and more money available inside what you've probably already built in your life. And you're just not sure how to maximize it, maybe to take the next step in the current conditions that we have. So if you're here today, your timing is not accidental. Let me start by saying that if you've been paying attention to the news and to the economy lately, I am sure that you can already feel it. Something about the nature of money in our world just doesn't feel the same anymore. The rules that we used to build by, the strategies that used to feel stable for attaining success and security in our life, and the moves that we used to think would create a predictable sense of an outcome, they're just not landing with the same kind of certainty in today's market. We can all feel that the old economy is losing its sense of coherence. And a lot of people are still treating things business as usual, but many of us can sense that the idea of business as usual just isn't quite working anymore. We can feel that power is rearranging itself in politics and also in boardrooms. And we can sense too that money is becoming more than just a source of income, that really money is becoming positioning, a hedge against or for the future, that it's becoming a form of protection and also a form of influence and leverage about a vote for what is going to survive the old world and get built in the new. And there's a very specific kind of person who typically feels this before the mainstream crowd does, and it's actually not the beginner. It's the person who already knows how to make money and is successful. It's usually the person who has quite a bit of experience in building something real, who has their proof, who has market intelligence, who has tangible assets and clients. And they also have the kind of intuition that seems to notice things in advance of other people and the headlines and knows there's something coming. Probably people like you. So there's been a quiet realization that a lot of us have been having. The way things used to work is just not enough anymore. I think I know that there's more here. You know that there's more in who you are and what you do and the money available to you to create. There's more leverage in your gifts, more visibility that's available to you, and more power in what you've already built, but not quite completely accessing. And maybe you're thinking, the problem is I know it's there, but I just can't quite fully see where it lives yet. So if that's you, I just want to say you are not late, you are not off, you are not crazy, you are not imagining that these things are happening. You're actually early. Because we're living through a moment in history where money itself is changing. And the people that are sensing this change first are going to be the ones who position themselves first. So while a lot of other people are still trying to preserve their place in the old matrix economy, you probably feel that you are here for something far more consequential. You're here to see where your wealth is actually coded, to stop leaving leverage in your life unclaimed, to build your experience of power on purpose, and to really match your money to your mission in life so that you can fund a future in our world that reflects your values. So that is where we're going to begin today. Before I continue, drop in the comments if any of you have been feeling this lately. How has that been showing up for you? I'm sure a lot of you recognize that similar feeling. Yeah. Chris, I see you nodding your head. You're like, yes. Michelle, deep feeling, awareness is imminent. Kelly says, my family and I have already been feeling this. Darren, yep, like the path needs some changing. Yep, we're going to talk about how to change the path for sure. Absolutely. Yep, Hannah, I've been feeling this for a while. Jen, like there's something I should be doing differently, but not sure how. Yep, I'm going to talk about the how today. Chris, politics are challenging. Yep, insecure with traditional routes. Yeah. And it's not that some of the traditional routes are bad, and we're definitely not like, let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're just going to look at something in addition to, right? Or slightly different today. Yeah. Eva, the way I've been compensated for my business has been changing under my nose, so I need to re-strategize. Yeah, perfect. Eva, you're really going to like the three-step method that I explained to you later, and I hope you get a lot from the live demonstration, so that way you can go home and work it on your own. But definitely that idea of how should I restructure my business to shift some things right under my nose, that's going to give you a great answer. Perfect. So here's what's actually happening. Money is not static. It is like a conscious, living, energetic being, right? Just like everything else in the world. We have an old tendency sometimes to think of things as inanimate or empty or an object or objective. But I want us to remember that everything has a force about it, right? Everything has a quality or a behavior or an aliveness. And so what's happening right now as we watch money in the economy is money is actually upgrading. And that may sound surprising because it kind of seems like the world is on fire in many corners right now. But there's always that element that's required for transformation, right? We are in a push moment right now. And so money is actually experiencing a transformation or an upgrade, a new life cycle, if you will. So what used to get rewarded in the old matrix economy was approaches to business and life that really valued things like control, effort, extraction, compliance. But what's starting to shift as a lot of those things are cracking and crashing in our world right now is what's starting to be rewarded by money is things like congruence, integrity, reciprocity, safety. So you can feel this shift even if you don't have language for it yet. Because when we watch the news and we see big companies, big leaders, all of a sudden in the hot seat, massive layoffs, people walking away, our system is saying that approach isn't working for us anymore. That's not what the people really want. We have taken ourselves to the brink of a threshold that is no longer sustainable if we keep doing that. So we are at a break the threshold moment, which is not to be feared, but to be understood so that we can transition into the new life cycle. So seeing power reorganize itself in real time is what we're living through, right? There is a bifurcation meaning like a fork in the road in our financial timelines. And two financial timelines are starting to happen in our world right now. One, which is the old timeline where money is being used as a form of control or fear. And another where money is being used as a creative force, a new type of strategy, and also a form of protection and stewardship. And so the question isn't really, is this happening? The question is whether you are positioned to win inside those new rules. So there's 5 indicators that the old matrix economy is spiraling and losing its coherence and getting ready to really be replaced by a new opportunity. So let me give you those 5 signals so you can recognize them as a form of intelligence. The first is we're seeing social signals. People are no longer refusing to equate work with worth. We are watching an exodus of outdated career agreements and a redefinition of the idea of luxury as freedom. The other is a big economic signal. Value is starting to be detached from linear production. AI, digital systems, decentralized rails, new forms of money, digital currency, right? All of these things are accelerating, and it's detaching from this idea that we must climb the ladder in a straight way. The third thing is political signals. Concentrated power institutions are being challenged. We are watching decentralization narratives and counter movements grow really loud all over the world right now. People are toppling governments, right? The fourth thing is the emotional signals. Internally, a lot of people are recognizing that their inner peace and integrity is becoming the new economy. So burnout is no longer being glamorized as this thing that you must do in order to be considered professionally successful. The final thing, number 5, is we're actually getting a spiritual signal. And that is the idea that money is being re-mythologized, reimagined. The old idea of money as a form of punishment or control is really starting to lose its grip. And money is now shifting to the idea of frequency and right relationship and how people feel when they make it and when they give and exchange it with others. So this isn't chaos when we watch the news and the economy. It's actually a transfer of the rules. So 5 indicators that a new type of economy is quietly starting to emerge underneath. I like to call it the sacred economy. So the 5 signals that the new economy is creating a new winning side of history is first the social arrival, right? Money is being concentrated into smaller circles of influence, neighborhoods, communities, local influencers with deeper trust and higher standards. Smaller brands. The economic arrival. We're seeing that value is also now about credibility, story, and trust, not just volume or mass market. We're also seeing a political arrival of the new economy, which is the power is leaking out of all the old vaults right now. And it's ugly to watch on the news, isn't it? But it's needed to happen. That power is finally leaking out of the old vaults, and new types of political, professional, and financial leadership is rising through the creation of alternative infrastructures. Now, the emotional sign that the new economy is arriving, feeling that receiving and exchanging is clean, and people's body and intuition about how they feel when they purchase from a brand or purchase from a person is really becoming a temperature, a barometer, a litmus test about whether that person or brand is within alignment and integrity or not. And the symbolic symbol of the change with money is that from a mythological perspective, money is starting to want to be seen as somebody's individual personal signature, almost like an oracle of who you really are. So this emergence of the new money is not going to necessarily announce itself with flashy headlines. It just announces itself through a different internal signal. You're feeling clean when you receive. You feel clean when you sell. You feel that your clients are booking and buying and moving because you told the truth, not because you hype marketed them. This is quietly becoming the new wealth paradigm that is being created. So let's make this practical, right? Drop in the comments first if you have been noticing the signs from the old economy shift into the new economy shift, and drop which ones you think you're seeing the most. I love this. Dr. Raj says, money is value, energy, and integrity. Yeah, I like that. Integrity driven, Matt. Yep. Absolutely. Integrity. Gosh, Stephanie says it too. Yep. Mary, money in the hands of smaller communities and groups, and also companies that have to pass the vibe check. Great explanation of that. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Love it. Integrity. Yeah. Another one, Tanya. Yep. Authenticity. Stephanie, defined by burnout to earn. Yeah. We don't want that anymore. Yeah. It is interesting. Most of you are commenting that the keyword integrity is coming up again and again and again. Yeah. And see, this is the thing, right? Money is shifting the way we're experiencing it from something that was misused and out of alignment. And people are starting to cue into that as we've been watching the world, and we're going, I don't want to pay to validate that system anymore, right? Love that. Yep. Rachel says integrity as well. Eva, conscious spending. Giving it to businesses and people with real value, not cheap marketing ploys. Agreed. Closer connection in the good, Chris. Yeah, closer connection in the transactions. Love. Yeah. So we can really see where my money goes. Nothing left to guess. Excellent comments. Yeah, we're on the same page, guys. And since the word integrity came up for pretty much everybody in the comments as we were going through that, when we break down your financial formula here in a second, this is that frame that it actually comes from, meaning the idea of being in full congruence or full authenticity or full alignment, meaning what is the financial frequency that I'm built for, right? Built for by God, the universe, the creator, whatever label you want to put on it, that I'm emanating out into the world because this is what the world values about me. And I am meant to produce and give and share these gifts. And when I do that, I'm actually earning in return. So it's a clean, energetic exchange. And I'm in integrity. And that's why people can do business with me and will purchase with me rather than being out of alignment. This entire shift, right, creates actually an urgent advantage for people like us. If the market is starting to reward things like integrity and congruence, then the most expensive mistake that you can make in your business is continuing to monetize what you just think is available rather than what is most actually valuable. Because the next level of your business or your success or your finance is not just going to be created simply by more output. It's going to be created by correctly identifying the leverage that's already sitting inside who you are, what you've built, and what you were designed to give to the world. And that's why you feel what you feel. You are not confused. You are underleveraged. And once you can start to see where that leverage lives, then you can create and position yourself on the right side of this bifurcating economic timeline very quickly. So in a moment, I'm going to show you the placements of exactly where that leverage lives, not in theory, but in that three-part financial formula that's going to help make your next move very obvious for you. But first, speaking of integrity and authenticity, I do want to tell you where I'm coming from. I'm going to say something that will either instantly land with you or it totally won't. Money is not neutral. Money is a force. It is consciousness made material. It has an intelligence to it. And it moves towards alignment the way that capital moves towards our competence. And over the past year, I began receiving direct transmissions about what money is doing on the planet right now. I started receiving real-life visitations from the spirit of money on Saturday, April 12th, 2025. Money first appeared to me as feminine, so I refer to her as a she. Throughout her subsequent visits in sacred medicine ceremonies and dreams, she gave me instructions, not motivational advice and not get-rich-quick schemes, instructions about how she wants to be used in the world right now, what is changing inside our financial systems, and why certain people are being positioned as the new stewards of capital for this new economy. And what the financial frequency is that she is really asking all of us to embody for the times that are coming ahead. I also want to point out that she especially wants money in the hands of women, women-owned businesses, women creators. So let me be very clear about what this is and what this is not. This is not a get-rich-quick talk, because that's not what she ever taught me. And I am not a prosperity prophet or a chosen person. I am simply somebody that money decided to speak to, and I am actually one of many people that she is speaking to that she let me know. So the things that I share are a record of her message. And this is where my work is different, because I'm not just going to speak from the spiritual plane. In addition to being an executive astrologer, I also have a business degree in economics and finance and work in corporate consulting for Wall Street infrastructure investment funds, evaluating real estate capital deals from the $50 to $250 million range. I have seen the old world approaches to money and understand the traditional mechanics and how success has been built in those old world frames. And I'm telling you this because my approach is not about having some kind of spiritual escape from finance. It's just a different kind of map of finance. And I'm telling you this because the message from the spirit of money was clear. She has been misused in our world as a form of control, and that was never her original design. Money is meant to be a form of care, to fund what matters, and to shape what is going to be created next in our world. And right now, money is moving towards people who can see how to steward it with intelligence and integrity. So if you're listening to this, then money has a message for you too. The question is not whether you know how to make money. The question is whether you can see the leverage you're currently leaving unclaimed. Because in this moment, people who see it first are the ones who are going to position first. And money funds the future. So the people who have it get to decide what is going to be built next in our world. The question is whether you're one of them. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. So here's where this becomes real. A lot of people will hear everything that I just said and still have no idea what to do with it. And here's the part that no one is telling you. You don't have a money problem. You have a visibility problem. A visibility problem, struggling to see your own leverage, your own money levers, and you don't know how to pull them. There is money sitting inside what you have already built in your business. Not future money, hypothetical money, but real existing leverage that just needs to be slightly repositioned for the new economy. And you simply can't fully see it, which means that you can't fully scale to your maximum capacity. And this is the thing, you can be successful and still be under-leveraged. You can feel like your income is not completely reflecting your true capacity or your full mission. So we're going to identify what is actually valuable about you that the world is already buying into. And I want to acknowledge we have two professional financial advisors here on our call today, Josephine and Justin. They are absolutely incredible human beings, and they definitely know what they're talking about. And they talk with people who are dealing with money day in and day out, and that is their ministry and their gift that they steward, and they help people in the world. We also have a third person, Jessica, who is a former financial advisor. She's now an entrepreneur and has a different type of business, but also has a really strong finance background. Tanya, also now an entrepreneur, has a different business, but used to work in banking. So again, the kinds of people that are in this conversation today, this is a treasure hunt, requires a map. So you've been taught to go out and build more, right? Dig in new places, create more offers, start more businesses, add more layers and complexity to your system. But what if the wealth that you're seeking to maximize is already on your own land? You just don't have the map to know where to dig. That's your gap. That is your gap. You have been taught to go look elsewhere when the very thing you're looking for is on your land, and you have been missing a map the whole time. The gap is the map, not effort, not more intelligence, not one more clever thing you need to do to promote yourself in your business. It's visibility, meaning you can't see what you can't see. That's what you've been missing. So the map is exactly what my Income Trinity financial formula solves. It gives you the visibility of the treasure hiding on your own land that you need to dig into. And it's going to show you three things very precisely. Number one, it's going to show you where your wealth is already coded. Number two, what the market is responding to in you that would help you scale. And number three, where it's going to land and consolidate in real time so that it expands into full portfolio leverage for you. Because money isn't random. Have you ever heard that expression, follow the money, right? Follow the money, meaning money leaves a trail. Money follows a map. It follows a structure. It has a map to it. So we're going to look at yours today. And when you see that structure, that map, that's when things change. It gets easier and faster and more obvious to consider those subtle shifts inside what you're already doing that could maximize more. So I've written a guidebook called the Financial Codex that breaks down those three money signals inside the income trinity financial formula. And I'm going to walk you through all three of them. And then here comes the fun part. I'm going to grab a few people from the crowd to interpret their income trinity live because I want you to learn the formula and get really comfortable with it so you can know how to work it out for yourself. And we're going to run it live together so you can see it in action and just how quickly your next money move might become obvious for you. Okay, so there are three core signals inside your income trinity. The first is your capital attraction code, and this is what naturally draws money to you, okay? The second is your expansion multiplier, and this is where your work is going to scale the fastest. And the third is your fortune access point, and it's where your wealth is going to actually land real time in the world when everything about you consolidates. So these three mathematical points are derived from your birthday data. So it is exclusive and unique to you, meaning your code is not going to be the same as your neighbor's code. It is precise, it is mathematical, it is data backed, and it is exclusive to you. So we run it in that particular sequence. I'm going to show you how to do that live in a second when I share my screen. And this is going to give you that next move certainty. When those three factors, the capital attraction code, the expansion multiplier, and the fortune access point, when they're misaligned, you've got them in a different order, you're not doing one of them, you didn't know you should be doing one of them, that's when you start working harder than you needed to, or you're just missing opportunities and can't seem to understand why. When you sync them in that particular order and understand that for yourself, that is when things become really aligned and much easier for you. So the 3 points are mathematically derived from your unique birthday data, and they are exclusive to you. So don't try to steal your neighbor's code. And a very simple data entry is going to produce a money map that's indicated in your astrological birth chart, right? And the 3 points in the money map that you're going to need to identify are the Venus indicator, the Jupiter indicator, and the lot of fortune. Don't worry, I'm going to show you everything on the screen. So then you just plug those 3 points into the income trinity formula, and it's going to give you your results. Now, to make it easy for those of you that actually want to try to do it on your own, I created the Financial Codex so that you could just instantly reference each point in the formula and receive an immediate prescription for what your next move might possibly be. Now, before we go any further, love that. I'm checking the comments. Alexandra, ready to fund the new future consciousness stewarded wealth. Love it. Cool. Okay. Drop in the comments before I share my screen and walk you through this. Is anybody feeling excited about looking at a financial formula or feeling intimidated about looking at a financial formula? Some people are excited, some people are intimidated. Everybody says excited. Let's go. Let's go do it. Excited. Okay, good. Nobody is feeling intimidated or overwhelmed. Yeah. Perfect. Justin, excited. Yeah, Justin and Josephine, these are going to be a little bit different financial formulas than the spreadsheets that you two are used to looking at over at your investment firm, right? But It's going to be aligned and in very surprising ways that you might quite be excited by. Yeah, Jessica, the world has been dying for a new wealth map. I know you understand that. Jessica is a former financial advisor turned entrepreneur, and she works with creators all the time, and she's got that really strong money backing. So yeah, you've seen it too. Cool. Okay, we're on the same page. So now let's do, all right. Okay, let me see. I'm going to share my screen so we can do this real time together. Give me one sec here. All right. Cool. Okay. I'm going to collapse this and make it only me. All right. Can I get a quick thumbs up or thumbs down? Are we able to see the screen? We are good. Okay, perfect. Okay. No need to feel intimidated or nervous. The income trinity formula is super simple. We start over here with the capital attraction code. It's very important that you go in the order I'm prescribing. So remember, this is your cash flow, right? This is how money is drawn to you naturally based on your birth data. So this is a place where we really want to prime the pump because we have to have something to play with in the beginning. Very simple indicator that you're going to look for in a chart is going to be the Venus placement. So I'm going to go through that in a second. Over here, step number 2, your expansion multiplier. This is the scaling aspect. What is getting in my way of making it bigger, and how do I move that, right? How do I explode my potential, my purpose, and monetize it? And then this last part of the formula is how you will know the place, the container, the type of service or offer where it's going to land the best and be most easily received by the marketplace is that final point, right? So we've got to have all these things landing over here in the third aspect, okay? Can I get a thumbs up before I move forward? And I'm going to show you how to pull it up for yourself. Yeah, we get that? Okay, good. I'm getting thumbs up from everybody.